Alright, so today we are going to be having a little look back at Amir Khan's 2018 comeback fight against Phil Lo Greco and the events leading up to that fight. So Khan's fight against Lo Greco was off the back of a 2-year layoff. His last fight before Lo Greco being against none other than Saul Canelo Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo weekend in 2016 at the T-Mobile Arena in Nevada. So going into the Canelo fight, Khan had a record of 31-3. At that point, he was actually coming off of a 1-year layoff. And he was coming off of a 5-fight win streak and was of course a former unified super lightweight champion of the world, but had not held a legitimate world title in 4.5 years at that point, as he only managed to pick up secondary gold, or silver shall I say, at welterweight. He held the WBC silver welterweight title while Floyd Mayweather was the actual WBC welterweight champ. So Khan was taking on Canelo for the middleweight championship of the world, so a big step up for Khan here. Canelo was on an absolute tear and was coming off of a big win over Miguel Cotto. Well, this middleweight title fight between Canelo and Khan was actually at a catch weight of 155, just a pound above the super welterweight limit, but Khan had never fought at super welterweight nonetheless, so this was definitely a bigger guy he was coming up against. So I'm sure you guys all know how this fight ended, but let me just quickly note that Khan was boxing alright in there. Of course, his well-renowned hand speed was allowing him to bother Canelo and score with some shots. Plus, his lateral movement and caginess was allowing him to get away from anything too dangerous from Canelo, but Canelo's calculated pressure did allow him to make some good connections. And Canelo's head movement was on point to where he could actually evade some of those lightning quick punches from Amir Khan. Going into round 6, one judge had Khan ahead on the cards, and obviously the other two had Canelo ahead. Of course, round 6 would be the round when this would happen.
Stay focused 5 rounds and then take a rest against a strong puncher like this, because it only takes one punch.
Maybe he was looking for that right hand shot the whole time. Boom! Big right hand, literally knocking the snot out of poor Amir Khan. His legs come out from under him. He hit the canvas hard.
So Amir Khan had been knocked out for the 3rd time in his career, and his infamous lack of chin was brought to light again. So that devastating KO loss would mark the beginning of that 2-year layoff, meaning that he went through the whole of 2017 without fighting, but he most certainly would not be away from the public eye in 2017. Well, actually, all this public drama started at the end of 2016, of course the very year that Khan took that devastating defeat to Canelo, well, in December 2016 to be exact. Amir's wife Farrell McDoom went on This Morning, a very popular news outlet here in the UK, and aired her grievances about the issues she had with Amir's family, sort of about Amir's parents not accepting her, and apparently she was also insulted by Amir's siblings about being fake and a gold digger, and all this stuff. Apparently this was going public on social media as well, and apparently Amir's sister was a big culprit of the bullying while Farrell was pregnant actually. So this is obviously an unfortunate situation for Amir, having the issues between his family and his wife being aired publicly, and I'm not sure Amir had too much say in this going public.
You know, it's not in my nature to ever go public about personal matters. Over the years, Amir's brother and sister went on Twitter rants, went on Instagram rants, talking about me, saying I don't get along with them, saying I'm very fake, I've done plastic surgery, calling me Michael Jackson, and I was a pregnant woman. You know, reading all that was not really nice. I had done a catwalk, and I was very proud of myself. Amir was very, very supportive and proud of me, and I had seen Amir's youngest sister had said something like dog walk and made a comment and laughed about it.
How does he feel about the fact that you're discussing this on telly again today?
I spoke to Amir about it, and Amir has always been very supportive.
Now, just to quickly note, I'm not trying to defame Amir Khan here, but the way I'm ordering these events will make sense when I get to the pre-fight build of Khan vs Lo Greco. Okay, so Amir Khan's tumultuous 2017 would be controversy-ridden from the start. So as I said, his wife went on This Morning in December 2016 going public with the family feud, but she would find herself back on This Morning just a month later with Amir this time. So was this a follow-up on the family feud? Well, yeah, but there was a whole new situation that evolved. So some of you might recognise this picture of Amir Khan here. So yes, this is from the whole Skype situation. A video of Amir Khan pleasuring himself while on a Skype call with a female emerged on the internet. It was posted on some X-rated website anonymously as far as I can tell. Now, of course, this sparked a lot of controversy and left Khan to be ridiculed.
You hear about your Muslim brother, man? Who? Jacking off. Who? Amir Khan.
Jacking off?
Yeah, you want to see it? Amir Khan?
Yeah, Amir Khan.
Yeah. Did you see it? Did you see his video of him jacking off?
No, I didn't see that.
You want to see it?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
What?
That motherfucker went crazy, man.
This is a matter he has been ridiculed about for years to come. I'm sure the video is still out there somewhere, but as much as I make sure I do research to the full extent for you guys, I will in fact not be attempting to find the video of Amir Khan boxing the one-eyed man. So the existence of this tape had already been rumoured for years, but it had obviously been released during a very difficult time to add insult to injury. And that is indeed what was addressed in this interview on This Morning. And obviously they wanted to clarify that the tape took place before their marriage, as the situation arose questions about Amir Khan being unfaithful.
It's something, happened a long time ago when I was young, and, I'm now a married man. This was well before my marriage, well before I had my little girl, Lamisa, and obviously it's come out now and is trying to put me down. All the good things I do, like the charity work and everything, it's kind of putting that shadow over that, and it's upset me more than anything. And also, it just puts us in a very difficult position. But it happened when I was very young, and yeah.
And I really do believe it happened because of what's been going on in the media lately. So I feel like someone's done it out of revenge. Someone close to us. So it is
the family
upsetting,
problem that's going on,
and it
the
is
family
unfair.
problems as well. There's a lot of stuff going on with the family issue and stuff, and I think whoever did it probably thought this is the best time to do it and just want to put us down, really.
Alright, so next up we have the big one in regards to Amir Khan's 2017 public ordeals. This was the Twitter row between Khan and his wife that took place in regards to Khan himself alleging that his wife had slept with none other than the heavyweight champion of the world, So yeah, this went down when in early August of 2017, Khan put this tweet out saying, "Mans like Joshua can have my leftovers." This was part of a series of tweets which was an absolute outburst, airing the dirty laundry of his suspicions of his wife's unfaithfulness. And of course, Farrell would clap back with her own series of tweets, the most diabolical of which, in my opinion, being the line, "Accusing other boxers just because your boxing career is finished."
That was diabolical! That was absolute diabolical! I can't speak!
So Joshua replied to claim that he had never even met Amir Khan's missus and that he likes his woman BBW, hashtag it wasn't me. He also posted a clip of the famous Shaggy song, It Wasn't Me, and this got a lot of attention. So the situation did all kind of get cleared up, something to do with Farrell's Snapchat being hacked and a fake message from AJ being posted on her Snap account, obviously after it had been hacked. And Amir then apologised to AJ and this stuff. There was still a load of backlash over the situation, of course. So as we saw, Amir's accusations caused a public online argument with Khan and his wife that exposed difficulties in their relationship. And apparently AJ did actually threaten to sue Khan at first due to the accusations, but that didn't end up happening. But this public row of course left Khan up for ridicule at the time, whether or not AJ getting off with his wife was true.
We don't know that what is being alleged is true.
Amir Khan says it's true though.
Amir Khan is saying it, Joshua's saying it isn't, so,
Yeah, but of course the accuser is not going to say yes.
He's obviously got reason to believe that he's saying what he's saying. Joshua obviously...
Maybe after he had a go, he thought, this is a few inches wider than I left it last time. A bit more space in there.
Why did I ask you about
this? And he's like, what's going on here, love? Is he short of girls, or is it just maybe he's trying to dominate Amir Khan and showing that, listen, I'm the man, you're an has-been?
We will of course get into more ridicule for the pre-fight build for Khan vs Lo Greco. And this affair is still assumed to be true by some to this day.
She's a bit of a groupie as well, She fucked Joshua, didn't she? And Drake.
So even though evidence would point to the fact that it isn't true, yeah, the whole ordeal was not a good look, given the other public scandals he was involved with. Also, I'm not saying that the affair did happen, but don't take AJ saying he likes his woman BBW as evidence for the affair not happening.
Annie? PG? There are children watching.
Oh man. Dad.
So yeah, ultimately a big streak of issues for Khan here, all involving his marriage. So Amir Khan would end his 2017 off by appearing on the popular reality show I'm the Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Now at this time, when it comes to boxing, his profession of course, Amir Khan was on a 1.5 year layoff and coming off of a loss. So if you're not familiar with I'm the Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, let's say when someone here in the UK is not currently thriving in the thing they are known for and they're in the public eye for different reasons, it is typical that they go on a show such as this. So yeah, it was apropos to see Khan on a reality TV show at this point. I forgot to mention earlier that after fighting Canelo, 10 of Khan's last 12 fights were in America, and the other 2 were here in merry old England back in 2011 and 2013. So not that Khan wasn't a figure on British television when exclusively fighting in the US and making appearances in the news for one reason or another. But it is a bit crazy how he went from fighting on the big stage in America to being involved in that Sun newspaper type celebrity drama and then going on reality TV. Losing to Canelo seems to have that effect on people, don't it? Canelo's last 2 fights before Khan were against James Kirkland and Miguel Cotto. Kirkland would take over 4 years out of the ring after losing to Canelo, and Cotto's layoff would last for over a year and a half after the Canelo loss. And this would remain a theme for more of Canelo's victims after Khan. Alright, so let's move on to the beginning of 2018. Can we finally get back to boxing? Well, a couple of days before the announcement of his return, Amir Khan would appear on Good Morning Britain twice within one broadcast. So the first appearance would be about some stuff that happened on I'm a Celebrity, and the second appearance would actually be with his wife Farrell and was in regards to their relationship. So this is relevant context to the Khan vs Lo Greco build as it goes. So they're basically just talking about how they're about to split up during their whole public, feud, but now they're happily back together, which is of course great for them, but I can't be asked to play a clip of this one, and obviously I'll get to why it's relevant. Mate, hold on. It turns out literally a few days before this Good Morning Britain appearance, at the very start of 2018, Amir and his wife actually went on Loose Women, but nah, I ain't watching that one, I can't lie. Forget about it. Alright, yeah, so finally back to boxing. 2 days after that Good Morning Britain appearance, which brings us to January 10th, 2018, Khan would announce his boxing return alongside his new promoter, Eddie Hearn. Alright, so I gotta address why this was kind of shocking at the time in case you didn't know. So Eddie Hearn had some stern words to say about Amir Khan in the past, mainly due to Khan's supposed ducking of one Kell Brook. Of course, Eddie Hearn did promote Kell Brook, and the Khan vs Brook fight was a fight everyone wanted in the British public. So here's some comments Eddie Hearn had after Kell Brook's IBF welterweight title defence against Frankie Gavin.
Amir Khan boxed in front of 7,000 people last night. What was the comp rate? 50-50? If they sold 3,500 tickets, I'll be shocked. He was live on Spike TV. Kell Brook just boxed in front of 18,000 on Sky Sports box office. I even forgot this morning when I woke up that Amir Khan was even fighting. They don't want to fight Kell Brook because of the fear of getting beat. 100% I believe they think they can win the fight. But if they lose to Kell Brook, they can forget Mayweather, they can forget Pacquiao. It's all about, for him, it's all about being in America, and I fill arenas in America. No, you don't. Not at all. Exactly. And I was at the MGM Grand against Devon Alexander. They comped like 70% of the tickets. I think they sold about 1,500 tickets. Why do that when you can fill the Millennium Stadium in October, November and potentially do 1 million buys on pay-per-view? We've already offered him $5 million. He'll make much more than that now. What is the excuse? But you get to this stage and it's like, you're just scared to fight Kell Brook. I'm sorry, that's the truth. Not because you don't think you can win, because you're scared of the potential of losing and what it could do to your career. But otherwise, it's going to get, we're going to miss the fight. That's what's going to happen. One day we're going to miss it, and we're all going to sit back when we're older and go, that's a shame that fight never happened. But like Amir Khan says, that's not about the money for me. Okay, what about this? No, it's not about the belts either. So what is it about? Oh, it's about the legacy. Well, come and have a major fight in an outdoor stadium, one of the biggest fights in Britain. That's a legacy, isn't it? Come on, you like to talk, you like to stand up for Amir Khan. Why won't he fight Kell Brook?
Why won't he Kell Brook? Because there's like a lot of them, they don't want to fight on your terms.
That's all bollocks. They don't even want to talk about it, Ron. Don't listen to that bullshit and don't buy it. They don't even want to have a conversation about a deal. They can have the lion's share. We don't care. They don't even want to entertain the conversation.
So for context, the only fight Khan had between this press conference and then signing with Eddie Hearn was the Canelo fight. So yeah, Khan Brook was a thing since like 2009. So when Eddie was making these comments back in 2015, it was already a thing for years. British boxing fans could not mention Brook without mentioning Khan, and vice versa. And it didn't die down at any point throughout the years.
Well, you sparred before, haven't you?
Yeah, we've sparred before.
And Kel will tell you about the sparring sessions. And we had a great sparring, and
what happened?
You know what happened. Come on, Kel.
What happened?
Kel, I used to box Kel all around the ring, and I'm not gonna lie to you, that's the honest truth. I was in England camps, and
you got schooled.
I never got schooled. Listen, I was training for the Olympic Games at that time, and Kel was at the juniors, and I used to school Kel in the ring.
I've never been schooled ever.
Yeah, come on, Kel.
Have you schooled me?
That's not the best part of sparring you said you did.
It's been going on years. Everyone's. What about Amir Khan? For years when I started professional, I've always wanted it. People saying this, that. So we need to get it on.
Definitely, I still think I'm a league above, but if I have to step back a league and have to go down and knock him out, then I might have to do that. But look,
does this go back to the sparring?
I mean, I think so. I think he's going to be bitter about how I treated him in sparring. Maybe that's why he's still bitter about that. That's why he wants to do it. Listen, if he beats Bradley,
I'll fight the winner, Bradley and Kell Brook.
You always saying stuff. You said that about Matthew White, and you said fight Matthew White and then fight me.
Yeah, this was like the all-British version of the whole Mayweather-Pacquiao ordeal, or the Roy Jones and Dariusz Michalczewski situation, which I do indeed have a video where I detailed that fight that never was, so I'll leave a link in the description for that.
But the views are embarrassing, that's why I'm trying to plug it now.
But yeah, back on topic, Khan had surprisingly got with Eddie Hearn on his return, a man who could make things happen. So yeah, in this presser they announced Khan's 3-fight deal with Matchroom and the big name fights that they were trying to get for Khan, and the date and venue was announced. The fight was taking place in the Echo Arena in Liverpool on April 21st. So this was of course not just Khan's boxing return after 2 years, but also his UK return after 5 years, since his fight against Julio Diaz in Sheffield back in 2013. Now I'll address the elephant in the room. Everyone was probably just happy about Khan signing with Eddie as it brought us closer to Khan vs Brook.
You've just signed up his chief domestic rival, probably on quite a lucrative deal. How's he taking it? No, he's happy. I mean, you know, I've told Kell, we've been talking with Amir for months now, and I told Kell a while back that we're talking. I phoned him and messaged him last night to let him know before anyone else. And he's excited, you know, he doesn't like Amir Khan, I mean, that's pretty obvious. But also, it doesn't take a genius to work out that this brings Brook Khan closer. You know, this brings all the mega fights for Amir Khan much closer. And it's not, you know, this deal isn't a deal to do the Kell Brook fight, but let's be real here. This is a fight we've wanted for ages. This is a fight the British public have wanted for ages. And it's top of the agenda to discuss for the back end of 2018.
So obviously there was no opponent announced in that presser announcing his return, but just under 3 weeks later, on January 29th, his opponent was announced, this being none other than Phil Lo Greco. So this was clearly a tune-up fight for Khan, obviously coming off of a long layoff. So who was this Phil Lo Greco guy who Khan would be facing off against in his Matchroom debut and British boxing return? So Phil Lo Greco was a 28-3 Canadian fighter who was a career welterweight, but many of his fights were at a catchweight between welterweight and super welterweight, and he actually stepped on the scales above the middleweight limit in his last fight, going into the Khan fight. And this fight with Khan was at a catchweight of 150, so a bit of a lack of discipline in terms of his weight management from what I can gather. So Lo Greco's 3 losses all came within his last 6 fights going into the Khan fight, and Lo Greco had never beat anyone of note in his pro career. His biggest claims to fame were the fact that he was a former WBC international welterweight champion, and that he fought both Sean Porter and Errol Spence, 2 of the great welterweights of the last decade. He lost to both of them before they became world champs, so he was somewhat of a stepping stone for both of them. So back in 2010, Lo Greco beat Slavomir Ziemlewicz for that WBC international title, knocking him out in round 9, and he had won every round on all 3 of the judges' scorecards to that point. That's the most detail I could give, as I cannot find footage of this fight anywhere. Lo Greco made no defences of that belt. Lo Greco then won a few more fights to go to 25-0 before taking on Sean Porter. Lo Greco would make it the 10-round distance with Porter. He did take some good shots from Porter in that fight, but he was knocked down in the final round and lost a shutout on the cards. Lo Greco's loss to Spence came 2 fights later, and he was stopped in round 3 in that fight. Between the Spence loss and the making of the Khan fight, Lo Greco went 2-1, gaining a stoppage win, losing a 10-round decision, then winning an 8-round decision. Another thing just to note, as I said, going into the Khan fight, Lo Greco was 3-3 in his last 6, but all 3 of the wins were scheduled 8-rounders, and all 3 of the losses were scheduled 10-rounders, those 3 losses being the only scheduled 10-rounders of his career. His fight with Khan was his 2nd ever scheduled 12-rounder, his only other scheduled 12-rounder being that international title win 8 years before the Khan fight. Alright, so let's finally take a look at that famous first Amir Khan vs Phil Lo Greco press conference that took place at the end of January, just a day after Lo Greco was announced as Khan's return opponent. So after all the undercard fighters spoke about their respective upcoming fights, and Mr. Hearn directing the attention to the main event, well, as far as I see it, this little Canadian fella took the room from the start. Well, the first jab actually came from Khan about Lo Greco's weight.
And give me time to get ready. 3 months. No promoter does that. Thank you, for real. And you saw the size of you, that's why. No, calm down.
But Lo Greco came straight back talking about Khan's hand injury, then moved this into making a sly dig about Khan's leaked video of him pleasuring himself by way of a hand gesture.
Are you done now? Okay, how's your hand? Show me your hand. You go like this? Is it good? Show me your hand. I'm going like this. I'm going to try on your face. I'm going to try on your face. What are you doing?
So yeah, already a reference to Khan's 2017 troubles. And I must say the Liverpool crowd are into this. Then Lo Greco goes in a bit on Khan avoiding the Brook fight, and they continue to go back and forth a bit.
Right? Now you sign with Eddie Hearn, and you're telling the people that there's hope you want to fight Kell Brook. You're looking for every way out to fight Kell Brook. If you wanted to fight Kell Brook, you would fight me at 54, because Kell Brook is 154. I was enjoying my show, Conrad fight. I was eating some rich food, I was minding my business.
I can tell, Long. Maybe you can see that.
Listen, hey, double chin, no chin. Double chin, no chin right here.
Alright, man, no chin.
You want to compete at 147? He wants to fight at 147. Let's take a look at the list. Danny Garcia, whooped your ass. Sean Porter, steamrolls you. Earl Spence, let's not even go there. Keith Thurman, let's not even talk about it. If you really wanted to have a chance and make some money, you say, you know what, I want to fight Kell Brook at 54. That's your only chance. Now, you're looking for every way out. You're looking for every way out not to fight Kell Brook.
Okay, so you're calling yourself a bum. You're calling yourself a bum.
A long time.
So you're calling yourself a bum, basically. You mentioned all them names, but you didn't mention your own name.
You're my team now.
It was kind of funny how Khan pointed out that Lo Greco was calling himself a bum by, you know, talking about Khan fighting other guys. So then Lo Greco had a little dig about how much Eddie Hearn was paying him as well, and that had the crowd chuckling too.
And by the way, this fool over here thinks this is the biggest payday. Not even close.
I didn't say that. You come up with a paycheck.
Close, you cheap fucks. Not even close. Not even close.
Listen, that I'm gonna leave to Eddie Hearn because Eddie, what's happened there, Eddie?
Not even fucking close.
I thought it was a lot of money.
Honestly.
Then next up, no, I'm just gonna play this bit in full.
Now let's talk about your losses. Let's talk about your losses.
I have fought nothing but world champion. I got beaten by people.
You have to listen. I'm talking. Please listen. Just listen. Just listen to what I'm about to say. After the Canelo loss, you went on a losing streak. Family, wife. Then wait a minute. Oh, guys, this is not Pakistan versus India. It's not a cricket match. Please. And then you go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world. What is wrong with you, mate? What is wrong? You go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world that he can have your leftovers? What?
Yeah, to me, this is just a goated press conference moment. Now, I know this may expose that I don't get out much, but there was a point years ago I used to rewatch that clip of this press conference almost every day, I feel like. The way he phrased it to me was brilliant mic work. I shouldn't need to break down Lo Greco's words here, because I gave all of that context to lead up to this point, but listen.
After the Canelo loss, you went on a losing streak. Family, wife, then wait a minute.
To put it like that, after that loss in the ring, you know, he went on a losing streak outside of the ring in his personal life. That had the crowd like, ooh. And even Amir's dad was laughing, which is very impactful given the context. And as well, it's just the way he alludes to him tweeting to the heavyweight champion of the world, which again has the crowd making a noise, but he pauses before he gets to what the tweet is about. And you can see at that point that Amir is pissed. He's just waiting to see how Lo Greco is going to word the rest of the sentence. I'd imagine Amir's already preempting his attack at this point. And then, yeah, the diabolical line that triggered Amir Khan to throw the water.
You go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world that he can have your leftovers? What?
Let me run that back a couple more times.
You go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world that he can have your leftovers? What? You go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world that he can have your leftovers? What?
Now, we do love a big insult met with a form of physical attack at a presser, don't we? Great way to hype a fight. Almost a perfect way, to be quite honest. Especially given that before, people might have just been excited merely for Khan's return and didn't care so much about the opponent. But now Lo Greco came in with all that trash talk, people want to see Khan get his hands on this loudmouth North American. Or maybe people wanted to see the underdog Lo Greco back his words up. You know, we did say Khan was his tune-up fight. Now, it wouldn't be right for me to pretend the press conference ended like that, which would have been perfect. But after all the scuffle and whatever, people trying to get to Lo Greco's team, I can't really tell what's going on. Well, the press conference did resume, and I'll be honest, yeah, I used to love watching back the clip of Khan throwing the water at him after that insult, but I completely forgot about this bit afterwards, and it does kind of kill it a bit. So basically, Lo Greco was made to feel bad for what he said by sort of like the whole room from what I can gather, and he gave into it. Eddie was saying he went too far, the crowd were reacting to him badly as if he crossed the line. Well, I don't know, maybe it's members of Khan's team having a go. But look, this launch presser was a free daytime event in Liverpool, so I didn't think these unemployed scousers in the crowd would have such morals to be so appalled by this comment. But here's the thing, when he dropped the word leftovers, this is when it became too far. But it's not like Lo Greco is choosing to label Amir's wife as leftovers. He's literally using the exact words from Khan's tweet. You know, Khan's the one that decided to go public with it. Look, it's not the best look if you're some little mark behind the keyboard commenting on the drama of someone else's marriage, whether or not it's public. But mate, this is a fellow fighter trying to sell a fight, and using public knowledge to do so. So yeah, Amir throwing the water was a fun moment, but acting like Lo Greco is such a ruin, I mean, it actually makes us UK fans look a bit soft. But Phil Lo Greco himself did bend to the will of the room and got all apologetic himself. And he is a North American, but he's Canadian, and they're a bit soft themselves, aren't they? I mean, I'm sorry to any of my Canadian viewers. I think the metrics say I've got my audience is like 1% Canadian, which judging by my views would indicate I have one Canadian fan. So to the one Canadian guy watching this, I'll say sorry, buddy. Yeah, just if there was an American in the situation, I would probably trust them to double down more, that being an American from the US of A. But yeah, like Eddie saying he should apologise, like come on.
Firstly, that was too personal. I want you to apologise.
Shut that soft ass shit up. And the best man to win. That's some soft ass shit. Shut that soft ass shit up. All that soft talking. You got to, man, shut that soft ass shit up, man. You ain't with me.
How about? Now when it comes to combat sports, I like to be British boxing over everything, but you ain't going to see Dana White asking no one to apologise for something like that. And rightly so, they get to settle it in the ring or the cage in their universe. But yeah, that was just a nitpick at the whole aftermath. It's still a very funny moment given all the context. And the thing that made it so impactful was that Phil Lo Greco set the pace with light-hearted banter, then went to that. So maybe it's too much to ask that I want to see him double down afterwards as well. But also if the presser ended there, then it would have been cool. I mean, maybe I'm a weirdo for going into that much detail about a little press conference moment, but this line made me spit my tea out before we even known the context, because I saw this presser at the time, but I wasn't following Amir's personal life when all that stuff was going on. So to me, the retroactive context to an outburst at a presser was very amusing. But yeah, I would say the reason everyone was acting like Lo Greco was in the wrong was because Amir and his wife had finally patched things up. But of course, the public dispute will be on the internet forever. Now fast forward to the second presser, the fight week presser over 2.5 months later. There's nothing interesting to cover here, it's all pally-pally at this point. But in the time in between, in Phil Lo Greco's interviews, we could gather from him that he was here to win. He wasn't just here for a little payday and to be a stepping stone for Khan.
He's calling me his tune-up. Well, I call him my tune-up.
You actually fucking think I was gonna go to the UK, talk all this nonsense, just because I wanted a fucking lousy paycheck? Come on, man. I know what I'm fighting for this time around. I'm 33 years old, and I'm there to win, and I'm gonna win.
Also, by the way, Lo Greco did double down on the words that he said at the press conference and explained that he was referencing Khan's own self-exposure. But this was in one of those interviews between the two pressers, and it remains that he was sort of forced to go back on his words at the first presser and was all respectful in the second presser. So it's all well and good saying this in an interview with Fight Hype, but he didn't double down like this in person, so there's no point in me even playing a clip. So let's finally get to the fight between Amir Khan and Phil Lo Greco. Would Amir Khan be able to make a huge statement in his big comeback fight and UK return and take Lo Greco out after all that trash talk? Or could Lo Greco back up all his trash talk and prove that Amir Khan was his tune-up fight and go on to expose Khan's suspect chin and prove Khan to be rattled from those comments? Well, to answer that question, I'm actually going to show you guys the full fight between Khan and Lo Greco after all this build. Now, let's see if I get away with this.
To Canelo, second Alvarez, but at his best, what a brilliant talent he is. The hand speed, the skill set. What can Phil Lo Greco do to dampen this homecoming party? Good uppercut from Khan, straight away. It looks right for shot, and he's down in the only 15 seconds. Khan having a perfect comeback here. Reminiscent a little bit of when he took out Dimitri Salita early. Can he do it to go? He's all over the place. Blistering hand speed on him. And it's all over in 40 seconds. Khan returns to world boxing.
So yes, after all that build-up, Khan took Lo Greco out in 39 seconds. That was the official time. So nice statement comeback win for Khan. And I know Lo Greco might have looked like he couldn't box in there, but Khan made him look that way. It might make me sound like some Khan fanboy to give him credit for beating an opponent of this caliber, but the speed he displayed there was insane. Like the uppercut before the first knockdown, you don't even see it coming. You just see Lo Greco's head go back. So yeah, just absolutely blitzed him and put him down twice within 40 seconds. Now this is a great indictment of Khan's famous hand speed, because although any fighter of world championship level ought to be getting Lo Greco out of there, probably no one else could do it that quick. I mean, Lo Greco took Port of the distance, you know, a man who went on to be 2-time welterweight champion of the world, and it took Spence over 10 times longer than Khan did to get Lo Greco out of there. Look, that's not to say Khan would have beat Spence, but I just think being able to get him out of there that quick was unique to Khan. Pick out any of the other top guys at the time, Crawford, Furman, even Pacquiao. They all likely would have took Lo Greco out, but not that quickly. So now I've taken a look at the fight, I'll quickly wind down with how both Khan and Lo Greco's boxing careers would play out following this result. Well, let me get this out the way first and say that after losing to Khan, Phil Lo Greco would never box again.
I'd go to an island and I'd move there and I'd never box again.
So as for Khan, Kell Brook actually got in the ring after his victory and they had a little back and forth. So would this fight finally happen next? Khan was finally back after that hand injury and was now with the same promoter as Brook. And Brook himself was coming off of the back of a comeback win himself after 2 consecutive losses and a bad orbital bone injury. So the stars were aligned now, right? Well, this fight wouldn't happen next, and it actually wouldn't happen until 4 years after this Khan vs Lo Greco fight. Now, the Khan vs Brook saga deserves its own video, and this video was mainly about Khan vs Lo Greco and Khan's time out of the ring in 2017. But I'll quickly speed through the rest of Khan's career to not leave this on a cliffhanger. So Khan fought Samuel Vargas in Birmingham in his next fight after the Lo Greco fight, and he beat Vargas by a 12-round unanimous decision. This didn't line up the Brook fight though, it actually lined up a world title shot for Khan. Khan went back to America in 2019 to challenge Terence Crawford in a WBO world title fight. Now, it was a bit of a weird ending to that fight. Crawford accidentally fouled Khan, meaning Khan was allowed a break, but no punishment was issued for Crawford. Then Khan opted not to continue, deeming it a TKO loss for Khan. He then bounced back from defeat to beat Billy Dib by stoppage less than 3 months after the loss to Crawford. But the win over Dib would actually be the start of another layoff for Khan, a 2.5-year layoff this time, but obviously he had yet to fight Kell Brook. So throughout all this time of Khan coming back and then having another layoff, all the talk would remain about Brook vs Khan, and the trash talk between the two would keep going throughout the years.
And there's talks about him being gay. I mean, if you are a real man, come out and say, yeah, you know, I am gay and it is what it is, because people know about him, people know who is this Kell Brook, and come out and tell us what happened when you got stabbed that time. I mean, was it because you tried it on with some poor guy, you tried to get on with some poor guy? I mean, these are things that have been told from his own camp.
Yeah, of course. You know, listen, I'm a Sky sports fighter. He's a Skype sports fighter.
So yeah, the Khan vs Brook fight finally got made in the latter stages of 2021 and took place in February of 2022. So Khan was obviously coming off of a 2.5-year layoff, as I said, and Brook was coming off of a layoff that was a good bit over a year and was coming off of a loss to Terence Crawford, of course the same man who Khan's last defeat was to, and the man who Khan would be training with on the build up to this fight, funnily enough. So yeah, after all the losses both men suffered, all the promotional struggles, the fight looking like it was getting closer then falling through again, it finally happened. Actually under the promotional banner of Boxer, in fact. Yeah, that's Boxer with 2 X's. Not Matchroom's Eddie Hearn after all that. So yeah, this was still a massive domestic event, even if it was happening way later than it was meant to. So yeah, we got a fun build to this fight with the press conferences and the gloves are off and all that, as expected.
Tell the truth, you've been obsessed, come on.
And when it came to the fight, this also delivered. It was a fun and action-packed fight, and it was just an absolutely relentless performance from Brook. And as I'm sure you all know, Brook went on to get the stoppage win in round 6. And you neither have to be a Brook fanboy nor a Khan hater to say that that was a satisfying comeuppance for Kell Brook after all that. Khan and Brook would both go on to announce their retirements in May of that year. Now, I don't want to go in on Khan's whole life story from the Brook fight until now, because the primary focus of this video was, again, the Khan vs Lo Greco fight, and we're already way past that now. But let's just say he has remained in the public eye post-retirement, whether it be for getting robbed at gunpoint or for facing a lengthy boxing suspension despite being retired, as he would actually pop dirty in the post-fight drug test after losing to Brook. However, there's a funny little social media post I will point to as it relates to the whole thing I covered about the Twitter thing with Amir Khan and AJ, obviously that Lo Greco brought to light at the presser.
You go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world. What is wrong with you, mate? What is wrong? You go out and you tweet to the heavyweight champion of the world that he can have your leftovers?
Sorry, I had to run that back one more time. So a random tweet was put out, a month after Amir's loss to Brook actually, March of 2022 that is, asking if AJ really did get it on with Amir's wife. And Anthony Joshua responded by saying he didn't, but with all the accusations, he wishes he did. Damning words from AJ here, and a smaller scale version of what another former heavyweight champion of the world had to say about allegations made against him.
I don't know. I really wish I did now, but now I really do want to rape her and her mama. I know you don't like to hear that, but
no, I don't
I'm
like
in
to
that
hear
state
that.
now.
So yeah, a bit of a different video today. What did you guys make of all that drama with Amir Khan's personal life? And what do you make of his fight with Lo Greco? Of course, many other fighters would have insulted Khan on his personal issues to sell a fight after his first fight back after all that. But the way Lo Greco did it was just funny, and it's the fact that it was some unknown guy as well. And of course, as I said, the way he set the pace at the presser, if he was just screaming insults from the start, then it wouldn't have hit like that. But yeah, just a funny situation all round. Khan going through all these personal issues while away and injured. His comeback opponent starts insulting him about it at the presser. Then Amir Khan knocks the guy out in 39 seconds. Then the guy retires from boxing. Now, I don't often dabble with out of the ring stuff. When I say out of the ring, I don't mean literally out of the ring. I mean personal matters outside of boxing. When it comes to press conference outbursts and gloves are off moments and that, I can't get enough of that stuff. You know, the old pull and a push. But obviously today I was looking into all that personal stuff. Not usually my cup of tea at all, but I did it to provide context to one of my favourite ever press conference moments. But yeah, it was kind of a chore to look at all that controversy with their marriage, and I just presented all that stuff in like a news format. No way I was giving my opinion on all that. But what are you lot saying? Do you like hearing about personal matters and drama like this? Or shall I stick to boxing like Dean White would say?
It's better that, innit? Yeah. Get your money, you lot stick to boxing, do what man know. Straight to boxing. Understand?
Well, we could leave out the get your money part of that Dean White quote there, because I ain't even got enough subscribers to be monetized yet. So, you know, if you want to maybe subscribe and bring me up to that 1k, that would indeed be greatly appreciated. But yeah, let me know in it, because if I do more videos like this, then they'll be few and far between either way, but something different, I guess. Also, I want to clarify that I do like Amir Khan. He's been involved in some great fights in his career, and he's a bit of a funny guy. I'm sure he does have genuine haters out there, but I see people in the comments of videos about Amir Khan saying everybody hates on him because they're jealous. Yes, I'm sure the people insulting Amir Khan in little comment sections are nowhere near as well off in life as Amir. And yes, I'm sure he does have some actual haters, but I don't think he has as many haters as you may think. I think he just gets bantered a lot because there's a lot to banter him about at the end of the day. It's not genuine hatred. On top of the fact that he's a bit of a troll himself, a lot of things have happened to him in and out of boxing that leave him subject to trolling, despite his many great achievements. Boxing fans don't prey on the guy's downfall or anything for the most part. We love Amir Khan here, don't we? Or maybe I'm just some little light-hearted guy because I don't hate any boxers. You know, before I go, there's a little back and forth going on with Amir Khan and Carl Froch at the moment. But yeah, that's all banter as far as I see it. Well, I've actually heard Carl Froch might actually have a genuine reason to hate Amir Khan. Like, a bit of a mad history there. But I can't confirm my sources are true, so I'll leave that out today. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about all that in the comments. And you have been listening to O.M.E. Boxing.